Field tonight. Interesting stat passed along by producer Jeff Houston. Jeff, you're doing a great job. Never in the history of Turner Field have they had a rain out.
Really?
Can you believe that?
Did not know that.
2.5+ years, I didn't think so. And anyway, I'm looking for all sorts of things to talk about besides the game. An overconfident bunch? No way. You heard that from the Braves. They know plenty of baseball still left to be played. But tonight, they're still feeling mighty good.
So some of the headlines over in Europe read, the United Slobs of America.
Ooh,
Ouch.
That's ugly. Among other things. And
Yeah.
they personally mentioned me. No.
No, they didn't.
You know.
But you know better than to step on somebody's putt line.
Exactly. I would debate you on that. Let he who has never walked over a putt line, walked over somebody's putt line for the first putter. I mean, come on. He is as feisty as I've ever seen him. Coach, it's always good to have you here.
Hey.
Do you ever battle burnout in your job?
I really think that's something that, what do? Open your mouth and say, hey, you got burnout? No, I really think it's something that all of us like to compete.
If anybody can do it, it's the man who I said never sold a single plot for the cemetery.
Thank you.
Coach, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Paul.
He's won 2 state championships, been to the Final Four 4 times, but he's a great leader of young men. I can't remember the last time I got so emotional at church, and I get pretty emotional at church.
I caught that game last night. It would have been better if they'd won.
But they didn't, Laurie, and we have to move on from that. Let me take exception to what Scott said. Fans need to worry about a storm inside the Civic Center tonight. Lynx hoping to blow away the Everblades coming up in sports will set the stage. Bob Smith said earlier something like 100 lightning strikes in a particular storm. Well, I know of 11 strikes tonight at the Civic Center in the playoff game. I love this. Our Stallions who art in corral, etc., forever, amen. I love fans who come prepared. I can't believe it's over. Hi, everybody. Paul Davis alongside Jeff Bryant. And Jeff and I bonded today. We walk around 18 when the final group was coming up. Couldn't see much because we're both rather short, but we sure heard the roar of the crowd.
Yes. It is St. Patty's Day, 1999. You're back with baseball here on News 12. Paul Davis alongside Dan Franzak. And Dan, you did a bang-up job on that national anthem. That's no surprise, is it? You've got some experience with vocal cords. It has not been an offensive barrage by any stretch of the imagination, but 9 hits and 3 runs can win on some nights, but not many. And that's high.
A special green jacket has been ordered up with Tiger stripes. You guys gotta be out of your minds. We invited Tiger to be on the show. Tiger, I know you're watching. See what you missed?
We were having a great time until we came across some cruelty to animals. I think it's dead.
All right, I've been had. Remember the last time you took a tire to be changed to a local shop in Augusta? You had to wait a while, didn't you? You ought to see these guys work.
Come on in, Paul.
Dolores Jones wasn't the least bit shy about having a TV camera film for all to see the way she and her grandkids live.
That's pasteboard and tape. I got to retape it again before the rain comes.
It will rain again, but they'll weather the storm together. You see, after years of raising 5 kids brought into the world by her own daughters, Dolores sees relief. All the sacrifice paid off this morning when her high-flying eagle landed a scholarship.
Yes, it's been real hard. It's been real hard.
She's had Ralph since he was a baby. This is a familiar scene these days. The two of them just chilling in Dolores' bedroom/office.
I had to live this way to make sure that they could get whatever they was able to get.
I guess I sweet talk there, like everybody say. I sweet talking and staying here so I can go to Josie and play football.
Mission accomplished. Ralph will exchange this humble bedroom for a spiffy dorm at SC State. He thanks grandmom for that.
And my grandma always told me I'm going to be somebody, so I just listen to her every day.
I am so happy. I just don't know. I wants to cry.
To be honest with you, when it happened, I didn't know what happened. You know, I just started hollering real loud. I thought my whole waist probably hadn't turned and was about to break or something. I really didn't know what happened when it happened, but it was a whole lot of pain. Nobody didn't touch me. I mean, it was just a freak accident. It's something that I do every play, and that's backpedal and plant.
You know, we're counting on Deion being a player for this football team this season in a variety of capacities. Well, it's a significant loss.
The NFL's Carolina Panthers have carried on since that fateful day in July. Deion Grant's locker stands ready and waiting for the Warrior to get back on his feet. And back on his feet he is, on the comeback from a fractured left hip, an injury that has killed lesser men.
So when I woke up, I had, my family and my friends there, and it was just high spirits. They didn't even give me time to really think about, do you just got hurt and you out for the season? And I mean, I just thought when I really tried to get up and go to the restroom, and it felt like my leg just was hanging, like I had no control of it, that's when it really hit me. And I think I cried for like 2 days straight.
The Josie High School grad was the 57th pick in the NFL draft after leading the nation in interceptions with 9 as the Tennessee Volunteers won the national championship. It'll be a while before the Augustan returns to his old form, but doctors in Charlotte are already marveling at how far he's come already.
They told me that I might be right, I might run, the same I might won't. But, my mind wasn't on that. My mind was on getting back out there next year. I'm possible chance I can get back out there this year.
Stay tuned, America. This miracle is still in the works. It's something I've wanted to do for a long time. Take the Atlanta Motor Speedway up on their offer to drive a car around the track. The only catch yesterday morning, NASCAR wannabes had to spend at least $25 in the gift shop. If the boss is watching, I picked up this high-tech radio headphone set. Look for the item on my expense report when we get back. They also made us sign waivers promising not to sue if something serious happened. But how fast can you really go in a News 12 Jeep packed to the gills with various TV equipment needed for our week-long Daytona reports?
Oh, Rich! Do you know how to hook all this stuff up?
Rich told me to shut up and buckle up for the exciting part of this story. Isn't this what the good old boys do when first taken to the track? They warm up the tires. Although I don't think that this is the kind of conversation you hear when the pros go to work.
I don't like it. This is scary. Can't get up, man. I can't get up.
Did you see that look of horror? It was prompted by a flashback to the last time News 12 visited AMS. Buckshot Jones bought it early in the Prime Star 500 back in November.
Turn 1, and we are up on the High Bank Oval. And now I know what it's like. This is something else. I'm at 70 miles an hour.
Okay, so I didn't exactly break any track practice speed records, but I was more disappointed to find Victory Lane closed for the winter.
Now, News 12 Sports with Paul Davis.
After the 6 o'clock news, Laureate told me I was wrong in suggesting that the odds were in Georgia's favor for a win tonight up in Lexington. UGA had only won twice in 54 trips over the years up there. Well, guess what? Who's smiling now?
Not Lori.
Me. Also smiling, Mr. Jim Herrick. He's done a great job with his team. Nip and tuck, even Steven the entire game. The steal and Jules Camera. Cats were up 5 at the break, but the Dogs pressure them the entire second half. Jarvis Hayes had a career-high 30. That gave them the lead at 64-63. It's tied at 82. Georgia's got the ball. They lose the ball. They get the ball back. Jarvis Hayes! That's your game-winning play. Georgia wins. They're 13-2, 2-0 in conference. Kentucky 0-2. Hey, you like that, Tubby? 0-2 in the SEC. Great stuff tonight. All right, I'm going to go ahead and bite the bullet and do this next story. The East Coast Hockey League has some issues, and on Monday, 18 teams did not report to practice because of those problems. In a nutshell, higher player insurance costs have their union wanting to renegotiate the current basic agreement with team owners. The union obviously wants management to help out and pay a little bit more. On the surface, you'd think this might cause a player strike if management balks. Not so, says the Lynx GM.
The CBA, the collective bargaining agreement, prevents any kind of work stoppage at all by the union. So,
just so you'll know, the Lynx players were in the minority Monday when they decided to practice on their own. Most teams took that day off. I think it says a lot about the character of our hockey team. TV stations across America, including ESPN, are reporting today that William Perry is headed back to the boxing ring. Remember, the former Chicago Bear lives in Aiken. The story has him fighting Butterbean Esch, the man on your screen right there. Reminds me of myself without a shirt. But when contacted by News 12 Sports earlier today, Perry said he didn't know a whole lot about the fight, said he doubted it would ever go down. There's no debating the facts about Florida football. The Gators have nailed down their third choice for head coach. Current New Orleans Saints defensive coordinator Ron Zook. Zook worked under Steve Spurrier back during the 90s. This will be his first head job of any kind.
Obviously, coming in behind Coach Spurrier is not the best thing you'd like to do, but
you have to go for it, Rock. And the Gator football program helping out another team for next year. Offensive coordinator Buddy Stevens was unveiled today as the new head coach at Stanford, replacing Tyrone Willingham. Tyrone's now at Notre Dame. Still more college football. Clemson is losing defensive coordinator Reggie Herring to Mississippi. To quote Ashley Brown, did Mississippi watch the bowl game? And the underclassmen kept falling and keep falling by the wayside in the college ranks. Joe Burns, one of Georgia Tech's all-time best running backs, announced today that he's leaving school to enter the NFL draft. So it's so long, Joe Burns. We are just a couple of weeks away from the second annual Ray Guy Awards Banquet in Augusta. It's set for January 25th at the Radisson. This year's guest speaker is none other than the former Snake himself, Raiders QB Kenny Stabler. Ray Guy had to work hard to get his old buddy to come. Now that it's a done deal, Ray Guy can't wait.
I think people are going to really enjoy Kenny.
Purdue's Travis Dorsch will be the guest of honor that night. He won the trophy down in Orlando a month ago. Ray Guy says he's very happy with the way his national award program is going.
We were talking about last year when, Kevin Simpkins.
I'm of the opinion that Ray Guy stands a better chance of getting into the Pro Football Hall of Fame with that award out there now. He finds out Super Bowl week if he's on this year's final list of 15. Before I'm through with you, you've got to see this. ACC basketball in Maryland, the great state. The Terps against North Carolina. This is Chris Wilcox. He darn near took off at the top of the key. That is the exclamation point on another huge loss for the Tar Heels. Maryland wins 112-79. Wow. Tar Heels lose by 33.
Come
on, we're out of time.
All right, thanks, Paul.
Up next, some real...
Out on the front lines, a group of young soldiers prepares for their toughest mission yet.
Colonel Bryant, I think it's time to send in the troops.
Yes, sir. Jacobs, Columbia.
Give me a QB keeper.
Yes, sir. Miller, Allendale.
I want a long ball.
Yes, sir. Lewis, Wilkes.
Football and war.
Got it. Buck, Jefferson.
I need an onside kick.
Newland, Lincoln.
I need all the touchdowns you can get.
Operation Football, tonight at 11:15.
Are you afraid?
We have nothing to fear but low-scoring games.
Is this the year that everybody else gets their revenge?
He fires. It's intercepted. It's a back. It comes right straight through the line of scrimmage and nails the quarterback. He's down.
No tomorrow.
He throws. It's picked off.
Paul, what are you doing?
I'm just trying to get warmed up for Sports Extra. You mind?
See the best high school football coverage in the CSRA, Friday nights at 11:15 on Channel 12.
Here's your first look at what's in tomorrow's Chronicle. We won't do that page. Let's do Paul instead.
Well, but you know what? This
Tell me.
will be in the newspaper tomorrow. But for those of you who can't wait to read it in the paper, we'll have it living color next.
Can't wait.
Talking about, we'll show you the videotape now, why was the senior class at Midland Valley giving one of their colleagues a standing ovation? That story is coming up. Tickets, I've got credentials to be there. Georgia against the Gamecocks, of course. The Bulldogs are 6-point favorites, but that will be war.
It will be.
Don't forget, Sports Extra tonight, 11:15. Many are saying, from what they saw last week, probably the best high school football show in all of planet Earth. So you don't want to miss that. We're gunning for 15 games tonight. It'll be a record since I've been here in terms of coverage. So guys are gassing up the cars. The camera batteries are on charge. We will be blanketing, as we like to say, the CSRA. Stay tuned, Sports Extra tonight.
All right, Paul.
Good job,
You're so
Paul.
modest.
Thank you very much.
Last night, Paul tried to do sports a different way on TV, and that was with no tapes, no video,
It
no
wasn't
pictures.
pretty, and I have made sure tonight, folks, that we've got the tapes. We can deliver.
You better get those downstairs right away.
That's right. Get them downstairs. Stay tuned for sports. You'll see, among other things, on these tapes here, how they've taken.
Thanks,
Go ahead,
Bob.
Bob. Get them down there.
Where were you last
Where were you last night? How they've taken the kick out of Ultimate Fighting. All shots is all I could say.
Now, Channel 12 Sports. Here's Paul Davis.
Take me out to the ball game, especially if the All-Stars will be in town. And they will be this time tomorrow night, showing off under the South Atlantic League banner. Lake Olmsted Stadium is all cleaned and ready to go. A big crowd is expected, but there are still about 500 tickets available to you folks at home. Nothing happening at the ballpark today. The action was at Westlake Country Club, where they held a golf tourney. And how about Green Jacket General Manager Chris Schuyler with a chance for an eagle on 18, but still making last-minute phone calls about tomorrow night?
The league president called, and he wanted me to be back at the ballpark, and we've got some other things going at the ballpark, but I had to stick around to make that eagle putt. I had a beautiful drive, a beautiful 3-iron into the par 5, and we could not sink the eagle putt, but we had to tap in for birdie.
Chris shot a 99 today. All the players arrive in town tonight. Over a half will someday play in the big leagues, and I made that up. He probably shot par, did Chris Schuyler. Look at this, Channel 12 Sports. This will be in the historic first. I'll be on the World Wide Web live with the ball game tomorrow night. Get your computer booted and ready. More on that tonight at 11 o'clock. But again, 7:30 tomorrow night, you can see and hear my call of the All-Star game by way of your computer at the house. That thing called Interleague is still with us, and it means baseball fans in Chicago won't have to argue over who's better, Cubs or White Sox, because they did it today on the field. And they were sporting old-timer uniforms, the White Sox from 1917, folk baseball lore. Reminds me of the movie Field of Dreams, didn't it? How serious is this rivalry? This play and this one play only will tell you the whole thing. Watch Scott Service at the plate, catching for the Cubs. He's bowled over, but he holds on. Cubs are looking good in this game. An intense rivalry. There it is, Cubs 6-3 in the 7th. As for the Braves, like a dog with a head between the legs, they've made their way up to Toronto to deal with Roger Clemens and the Blue Jays tonight. The Rocket tries to become the game's first 12-game winner. Denny Nagel shoots for his 10th W. And just in case you missed my report Saturday, I had a great time with the CSRA fan club and the trek over to Turner Field to see the Braves and the Orioles. Even though we saw the first of a 3-game Baltimore sweep, made lots of new friends and saw the new ballpark up close and personal. Come to think of it, though, Chicago fans had a lot on their plates today. I've already mentioned the baseball game. They also had to find time in the work schedules to do this, take in another one of those patented Bulls championship parties on the lakefront today.
And the head coach of your world champion Chicago Bulls, Bill Jackson.
Again, the Chicago Bulls celebrating today, and before I go, Ernie Irvan is still celebrating. Ernie Irvan was able to come from the 20th spot on the starting grid to win the Miller yesterday on the NASCAR circuit. This guy nearly died at this racetrack a couple of years ago, and he
Everything
was
that was going
happy.
through, and I kept going through turn 2, kept thinking, man, this is where the wreck happened, and just everything kept going through my mind.
He said it was tough to drive with tears in his eyes. Ernie Irvan is back, and we all love to see that.
Yeah, good for him. Thank you, Paul.
Now, Channel 12 Sports. Here's Paul Davis.
I don't believe what Bob Smith just said to me maybe 15 seconds before the broadcast. The Braves are not a contending team. Bah humbug. So what? They're having a bad time tonight. Roll the highlights against the Astros at Turner. Tom Glavine left in the 6th inning with a 6-0 lead. Tony Graffinino had that 2-run homer. But come the 8th, the Astros had clawed back into the game. Against Chad Fox, Craig Biggio goes yard. The 2-run homer tied it. They're still playing. Brad Klontz doing wonderfully. Marlins are beating up on the Cubbies, so the Braves need to win to keep that magic number at 4.5. Hate to give you more bad news, but before the game, the Braves put reliever Mike Balecki on the 15-day disabled list. He's got a torn right rotator cuff. Brad Klontz, as I said, coming back from Richmond, he's actually pitching tonight right now and doing well for the Braves. Banner day out west for the Yankees. They destroyed the A's 18-2. Watch Sanchez to Jeter. Richard, did you see that? Ray Sanchez behind the back to Derek Jeter. If you're the skipper, Joe Torre, what do? You laugh. New York picks up a game on the Orioles because they lost. Tito Martinez had his 41st home run today. Somebody do some sort of voodoo dance for the Green Jackets. Things haven't been going their way as of late, although tonight they beat the Red Sticks of Columbus 5-4. Third place, Savannah split a DH with Macon, so the magic number is reduced to 4 for the Green Jackets, clinching a playoff spot. Football now. Next time you see a videotape of Panther Kevin Green, he'll be draped in the colors of the San Fran 49ers. They've written up a 6-year contract that adds up to about $13 million. Green has 128 straight starts and has missed only 1 game the last 8 seasons. He's worth that dough. Beating Ridge Spring Moneta in a jamboree doesn't mean South Aiken's headed for a state championship, but it sure made him feel good. Yay, son! This play, a TD toss on their first possession, staked the Thoroughbreds to a quick 7-0 lead. They won 10-zip Friday. The biggest challenge, eliminating that loser mentality from a season ago.
Well, we've seen a little bit of that in our scrimmages. We've driven the ball down the field on a couple of people in scrimmages and come down inside the 20-yard line, and kids start looking for bad things to happen instead of looking to put it in the end zone. But some of that you just have to work through.
First test is Friday. They take on Midland Valley in Mustang Country. Don't be surprised if South Aiken isn't much improved this year. None of the top seeds had any trouble today in the first round of the U.S. Open. My favorite volleys right now. Alex Karachov serving. Did you see what happened? His opponent whiffed. Completely missed the serve. Here it is again. When that happens to you, you try to act like it didn't happen. There's Brooks. Brooke, she's watching Andre near court against Steve Campbell of Detroit. Watch this shot from Andre. Backhanded down the line for the winner. I do believe this match is just over with Andre winning. A late night light, and then I'm done. I sweet talk my way into the Civic Center tonight. WTBS gave me permission, and we have suddenly lost contact. There it is. Well, you know what? That was the kind of electricity you had for WCW. This was one of the preliminary matches. That poor fella, much smaller, getting the tar beat out of him. This is Double J, the guy in the white leotards, having all kinds of success against the Oriental, and then insult to injury after he slams him down his back. Jeff Jarrett gets up and says, like a walk in the park on Sunday afternoon. And then, what a roar of approval for the Harlem Heat. Gosh, I enjoyed this. But the Masked Marauders, first off, having things their way. Watch the Ninja Turtle move. And then the double kick. Folks, I have to tell you, I can't remember. Here's the tag, and then 2 more go down. Harlem Heat prevails tonight over the Masked.
Man, that is wild. Hey, check this out. Bob just gave me the score. Braves win.
See, you don't
So maybe
give
they
up.
should contend after all.
7-6 Braves win.
They're They're great. They're just a great team.
At least
they
tonight.
pull it out in the end.
That's right.
Thanks,
Okay.
Paul.
Now, Channel 12 Sports. Here's Paul Davis.
I've been looking forward to bringing you this week's Channel 12 Unsung Hero Report all day long. I take my hat off to people who throw themselves into a newfound hobby, such as the case with a lady named Brenda Rials. Brenda, last night at the Warren Road Gym, the National Women's Boxing Championships, and there she goes down early in the first round. Brenda is 31, wearing the blue headgear. She comes from Thompson, trains in Augusta. She's the mother of 3, and they saw their mom last night put her love of the sport on the line. There's her parents watching her. God love her. They had to stop the fight halfway through round 2. I think she was a tad dizzy, but Brenda made a great showing, and we talked afterwards.
She asked me if I wanted to continue, and I said yes, but she called it. I thought my coach called it. That's why I turned to look at him. He didn't call it, so I didn't know why she called it. It was what I expected. I didn't think she was going to be as aggressive as she was. She looked more stay on the outside. It was a really interesting experience. Never been in there before. I've been hit that hard before, so that wasn't a surprise. Just, it's like nobody's around. It's just you and your opponent in the ring. It's real interesting. My mama lost.
Are you mad because? Are you sad because she lost? Or are you sad because you were worried about her getting hurt?
I was worried about her getting hurt.
That was daughter Tracy at mom's side. They kiss and say everything's okay. There's her ex-hubby right there. It's James Miner. That's actually Brenda Riles' trainer. So the family, even though I guess they went through a divorce, they have still hung together in the sport of boxing that they love. And again, she is our unsung hero this week for getting in and participating at a very big level, the national championships, something that she loves. Coming up at 6, we have videotape of Laurie Ott last night. No, I'm just kidding.
Decking Paul Davis after the newscast.
It's happened. British Open highlights from over in Scotland.
Ready?
I think she could do it.
Wouldn't take much, folks.
I know it. I'm sorry.
Now, Channel 12 Sports. Here's Paul Davis.
Just in case you missed the top of this newscast, it's a done deal. Mike Tyson will pay for that dastardly deed. Pardon the pun, but he's bitten off more than he can chew. The Nevada Athletic Commission has handed down a 1-year suspension by taking away his license. They've also fined him $3 million. All of other states will honor the 1-year ban, and Tyson still can't travel overseas to fight either on account of his rape conviction, so for now, he's on the shelf. Maybe with all of his free time, Tyson will take up fishing. It's good for whatever ails you. Here is this week's Big Fish Report. My son Casey and I were out with Channel 12's official guide at about 9:30. It was hot, but I found a way to be distracted.
Paul caught a fish. I am so excited.
I didn't just catch any fish. I caught this fish.
That's right.
This is my son Casey. He's holding it for me. Chris was supposed to grab the camera. He's not very good at shooting, but he's an awful good fisherman.
I'm not being paid to be the cameraman, Paul. I
hooked him on a popper.
That's right. Caught him on a popper. He come up, slapped it, and you hooked him in the tail, but it was a legal catch, and you caught him, and I'm proud of you. Ladies and gentlemen, I hate to admit it, but Paul Davis has got another one.
And he's a keeper!
And it's a keeper. Check it out. Another fish on the popper.
Ladies and gentlemen, with my own rod.
In the boat.
I have arrived as an angler. Richard Rogers and Laurie Ott, Rick Sykes and Jaquetta, I've arrived as an angler. I know what I'm doing now.
I have taught him well.
Now, if I can only have the nerve to take the fish myself off the hook, I'd be in good shape.
That still gives me the heebie-jeebies. This is the popper. You can buy this at Walmart, Kmart, your favorite fish and tackle shop. I varied my retrieve today. I let it sit in the water a second or so, and then I made the pull, and I think that that's what landed me my success today. I just spoke with the folks at Raysville Marina today, and they say that the fishing is good in their neck of the woods. Mr. Turner says bring out a red and white rooster tail or a white rooster tail. A thing popper is also hot. Mr. Turner says that 3 guys in a boat this morning caught 27 bass, so I think we can say the fishing is good as of late.
All right.
I think that's great. I'm so proud of you.
Nice job.
If first you don't succeed, try again.
Get you some gloves and you can take that thing off the hook. Thank you, Paul.
Now, Channel 12 Sports. Here's Paul Davis.
The band is quiet right now, but they were just performing, and I can tell you, the Swinging Medallions Party Band of the South will be part of the festivities tonight here at the Border Bash number 4. It's going to be a good time. Would you guys wait just for a minute? Let me set the stage before we go ahead and get into the bickering about which team is better. This thing began 4 years ago. It's moved all around the city, and this year they have blocked off 8th Street right across from Cotton Road Cafe. The Border Bash party actually begins at 7. They've got all kinds of food, boiled peanuts, hot dogs and sodas, and the bubbly, if you will, and the music again, so it should be a good time. Now, I asked you guys to stand by, and there you are arguing with people. This is Charlie and this is Ducky. They're buddies. They live in Martinez, and if there's one day of the year where they are fierce enemies, it is tomorrow. You guys are going to the game tomorrow. Ducky, first off, talk about the ball game and the relationship and the rivalry.
Well, you know, we've been playing a long time, and Charlie and I have been going together, but I'm going to whip him so bad tomorrow, he will not wake up again till the next day.
You're going to the game
I'm going to
together.
beat him. I'm going to beat him bad.
We had to
Go!
We had to practice this interview and censor some of the comments. Charlie, Gamecocks won last year. Can you do it tomorrow in Athens?
Absolutely. There's no doubt in my mind. The Gamecocks are going to go to Athens. They're going to bite the fleas right off of them dogs and send them back to be bull puppies before we're done with it.
You guys can't wait to get there tomorrow.
Hey,
it's a 3:30 kickoff. When are you leaving?
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock?
Yeah,
8 o'clock. We're going to get ready real early.
We're going to eat some dogs, some sausage dogs tomorrow. Yeah. We're gonna chow down on the dogs before the game even starts.
I am worried about where this interview was going to. This is a family program.
You know, it's a sad thing when you got a chicken here that can't talk half plain.
Fellas, thanks for being on the show. Save it for tomorrow in Athens, okay?
One thing I need to say. Cock-a-doodle-doo!
Your turn. All right, so that is just some of what's going on tonight here at the Border Bash. Let me remind you, let me show you the graphics on Channel 12 tomorrow at 3:30. We've got the Gamecocks and the Bulldogs, so watch Channel 12. Sports Extra week number 2 tonight to get you ready. Let's look back at some of the best plays from last week. The guy who was all messed up with his uniform, but it didn't matter. Brandon Kohlberg of Augusta Christian, his shirt tails out. He's all messed up, but he gets in for the score as they beat Robert Toombs. The Airmail Honors Award to Lincoln County's Kenny Barnett and Chris Norman. They hook up there for a 70-yard TD play. That looked nice. Pick of the week. Batesburg Leeville's Eric Derrick anticipated perfectly as the Panthers rolled over Strom last week. And then varsity debut, second to none. James Shanks of Greenbrier, who did play J.D. ball a couple of seasons ago, sat out last year, couple of scores last week as he races 86 yards on this kick return. James Shanks and Greenbrier looked good a week ago. The quick pop pass that worked to perfection. North Augusta's Kevin Smith found Tyrone Holmes, and Holmes was off to the races. North Augusta has raced out to a 2-0 record or 2-0 record. And look at Alpheus Mitchell from Josie, the collar maneuver of the week. We hope to be cooking up more good stuff for you tonight. Some of the marquee matchups tonight, you see them on your screen. How about Evans and North Augusta, Josie and ARC? I'll be at that one. The Wilkes, you see their game. Ladies and gentlemen, we anticipate a great show tonight. Let's don't forget the good old boys of NASCAR up in New Hampshire. Talked to a fella today up there to try to get qualifying information, and I just loved his thick northeast Massachusetts-like accent. Let me show you the qualifying information we've got for you. And on the pole, it's Kenny Schrader and Bobby Hamilton, Brett Bodine, and Mr. Mike Skinner. That's the CMT 300, which happens on Sunday in NASCAR. Ladies and gentlemen, Sports Extra tonight at 11:15. You gotta watch the program. Lariat will be anchoring the news department's portion of the newscast. She can't wait. Richard Rogers has the night off. But again, if you're not doing anything tonight, Border Bash Party number 4, Gamecocks against the Dogs. It's a chance for fans on both sides of the line of scrimmage to debate who will win tomorrow. Plenty of eats and great music. Laurie, I'm done. I'll see you later tonight.
Okay, Paul.
Channel 12 Sports. Here's Paul Davis.
He shoots, he scores! Hi, everybody, I am Paul Davis, and that is the top sports story of the day, probably for the last several months here in Augusta, at least until you go back to April. Hockey by a vote of 6-4, and the Coliseum Authority will be coming to Augusta next October. Let me go ahead one more time. This videotape we've been showing is actually of the ice caps a year ago in Raleigh. The entire southeast corridor is filling up with minor league teams. Augusta was the largest city in the southeast without a team. That changes today. Some say hockey won't fly here. Others say it is a proven crowd pleaser.
It's a good deal. It's a good deal for us. It's a good deal for Augusta. We're excited about it. We think, you know, we're now moving on. You know, it's like the old saying, the turtle doesn't make progress till he sticks his neck out. And we've stuck our neck out, but we're going to make progress. This is going to be great.
The city will have to pay $1 million to put ice inside the Civic Center late next spring. That money will come from a capital improvement fund and not from property taxes. Keep that in mind. That fund right now sits at $1.4 million, so they take $1 million out. They'll still have $400,000 in excess left over, so nobody's going to go to the poorhouse. So more on the hockey. We've said enough already. More tonight at 11. But I'm going to try to drive that Zamboni machine. That's the thing that smooths out the ice. Operation Football tonight, a program that knows how to win.
338, 30.
What can you say about Washington County that hasn't already been said or written? 37-1 over the last 5 seasons at home and 2 state championships in the last 3 years. This season, they are loaded. Look out, everybody.
Players are in great physical shape. They put a lot into being a good football team, and I think we'll get everybody's state championship game. You know, we saw that in a little jamboree. I think everybody gets up sky high to play us.
Coach says this guy, quarterback Terrence Edwards, is the best player in the state, period. He's the cousin of Georgia Bulldog Robert Edwards.
Right now, I think we're better than we was last year at this point. So as long as we just improve every week and play like up to our ability, I think we have a real good chance.
The Golden Hawk offense scored 506 points last year. They rallied back from 21 down to beat Americus in the championship game. More on the Golden Hawks tonight in Operation Football. Braves and Padres tonight. Kevin Millwood will pitch. The Braves lead in the standings 2.5 on the Florida Marlins. U.S. Open information, Patrick Rafter in the quarterfinals today sets down Magnus Larsson in 3 sets. And let me show you a late night leftover. Speaking of the Florida Marlins, a Gary Sheffield home run beat the Orioles. But look at the Oriole dugout last night. The roof collapsed on their dugout there in Miami. And Mike Mussina was asking his teammates, did that really happen? I guess the good news is nobody was hurt. There's Mike Mussina saying, did you see that? Richard and Laurie, this is great news today about the hockey. I think that there's a lot of folks I've talked to who at one time lived in the North. They love the game, and I think if you come to a game up close and personal and see it, forget about all the fighting that we're always talking about. Hockey is a fast-paced, very exciting game that I think will go over well. So, and again, we'll say more tonight on the Late Late Show. Back to you folks.
Okay, I'll give it a shot.
Yeah, Paul Davis already